Good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. I keep thinking it's like Thursday or Tuesday, but definitely not the day that it actually is. Surprise, surprise, welcome to my life. So, I just finished my workout, which yay for me. And if you're watching this video, which I hope you are, you will see that is my dishwasher and a bunch of boxes. And I did close the cabinet that was open, so there's that. But this morning while I was working out, I was listening to a sermon by Holly Furtick, which is Pastor Stephen Furtick's wife. I love her. It's from their annual women's retreat that they run at their church. And it was talking about like healing, finding that true healing, and getting vulnerable. Because when we cover up things, it was talking about covering up things. And it was talking about the story in the Bible of Nahum, who had leprosy that he had been covering up forever. And when I heard this, I was instantly like intrigued because, leprosy is one of those diseases of the Bible that you hear about, and then people were outcast and like this whole other colony. And I feel like leprosy is like a real thing in our society, but not like necessarily physically, but kind of mentally. Mentally, so many of us have leprosy. And this sounds super weird, but think about it. So when you have these things that you put on, so as a mom, I put on the mom hat, and then I put on the wife hat, and then I put on the business hat, and then I put on the maid hat, which the maid's slacking currently. So is the laundress. I put on all of these hats every single day, and I cover myself up. And each hat wears its own set of clothing, its own special set of circumstances, its own something, and it's covering something else up. So there's a lot of things that I do just because I feel like I need to do it. I don't do it necessarily because I'm passionate about it. And it leads to this feeling burnt out a lot. And I know so many of you can relate to this because we, as a nation, are busy people. We feel like if we are busy, then we are important, and that's not true. You are important no matter what. Busyness does not necessarily make you more important, does not make you more valued, because when you're busy, when you're so busy that you're not really focusing on anything, you're not really doing anybody a service. The whole like, I'm a great multitasker, it's not a real thing. And I will admit that because multitasking, you don't get anything done fully. And studies have shown, and you're like, what does this have to do with vulnerability? Studies have shown that when you switch from doing one thing to another in the middle of doing something, good morning April, you are actually cutting down your brain capacity. People who multitask are 10 times more, what did they say, 10 times more, they compared this to someone who smokes weed. So when you smoke weed, you lose 5% of your brain capacity. When you multitask, you lose 10%, basically, which is a really interesting fact. I'm all about facts. So, real life vulnerability versus social media vulnerability. I'm a coach, and as a coach, my job is to help people break through those barriers of vulnerability. Break through those barriers of like, it's like putting up a mental wall. And they put them up because they tell themselves they can't do this. I'm not smart enough. I got posted about it this morning. I'm not smart enough, not pretty enough, I'm not a good mom. I'm not good at this, and this. You may not be good at those things. You may be okay at them, but they're not the things that you thrive at because it's not what you're passionate about. 99.9% of the time, something that you're passionate about, you're going to be really good at. And it's okay to only have one or two things that you're really good at. That's awesome because you can take those things and you can grow within that passion. But as a coach, I help people get down to the nitty-gritty of why they struggle with consistency, making good choices, following through with their commitments, doing all of these things. It's a behind-the-scenes kind of conversation. Like, what got you to that point? Well, I'm not consistent because I struggle with making excuses about time. And what I've had to learn is it's not that I don't have time, it's that it's not a priority to me. So people that struggle with getting in consistent workout, it's not that you don't have time, it's that it's not a priority to you. So you're not willing to get up earlier and do it. Prayer time, doing a devotional. I have so many people that say, I'm so busy, I don't have time to sit down and do a prayer journal or to do that. It's not that you don't have time, it's that it's not a priority to you. if it were a priority to you, you would cancel out some other things to make room for that, because that's an area that's very important to you. So you have to look at your priorities. Again, where does vulnerability come in with this? So when we wear all of these hats and we cover up these things that are really going on, I'm really bad about this, we stop the flow of intention towards moving forward in those things. And when you're covering something up, you always got to smile. Something always is great, and there's never just a downside to anything. There's going to be that moment where it happens, and it's going to be like, happens to me all the time. Usually on my husband, because after he's worked 16 hours a day and I've been with the kids all day, and you know, he's like, how's your day going? I'm like, my day's fine, when really there's like disaster, 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 disaster. But I say that everything's fine because I don't want to add more stress onto him, and he's working so hard. Sometimes I just need to say, the kids are being crazy, I'm about to lose my mind, I really need to go sip some water and take a nap. Like, you know, just put it out there, put your vibes out there. Yes, for moms it usually happens a lot with kids because we are internalizing other things that most of the time have nothing to do with our children. Sometimes my children is a complete psycho, or my child is a complete psycho, for no reason, because she's got her own personality. But sometimes a lot of the reactions that I have with my child have nothing to do with her. It has something to do with a conversation that went on in a communication with one of my girls in accountability, with someone who made a comment about something on social media, with maybe just some feelings I'm feeling about myself that aren't necessarily true, but that I'm interpreting from the way someone looked at me, or, you know, a text message. God bless, I interpret all kinds of things through text message all the time that aren't true. But real vulnerability with real people, not saying that you people on Facebook are not real, but when you have that connection with people, I have a connection with the women that I work with because we get to know each other very well. We do phone calls, we do FaceTime, we do all these things so that it's a real connection, so that they know that I'm a real person, not someone just trying to sell them a product. I am someone that wants to be there every step of the way, good, bad, or ugly, whether they stay with me, they're continuing to use the products, or they decide to do something else. I am here. I am a friend. I'm going to support you no matter what you do. And so when they know that, it becomes a real relationship. They trust me. I trust them. I feel like I can share my life with them. And I do. Within my groups, I talk about a lot of things I would never talk about publicly because we have that relationship with one another. And we're growing in that. And so when I say, true confession, I haven't worked out in 3 days because I just have not made it a priority, and I have not made time for myself. My nutrition's been okay, but I'm really struggling because I'm really tired. I've been with the kids, you know, my mother-in-law's been here, which is a complete godsend, but I've been with the kids for so long, and I've got so much to do, and I just have so much on my plate. You know, this is where I'm at right now. I want you to know, I want, you know, and they'll give me that feedback. They'll say, you know what, I understand life is busy with kids, but they'll challenge me to make a better choice, or they'll challenge me to take that excuse and do something positive with it. So I didn't work out yesterday because I was tired, and I put it off, and I did other things in place of when I should have made time for myself. True confession. Today, I took that and I said, you know what, instead of doing these things that are not going to move me forward in my goals, I'm going to make time for the things that are going to move me forward and the things that I want to excel at. I want to be in better health. I want to lose the remaining baby weight, and I want to feel good in my skin and in my clothes. Hello. So I'm going to make time for that because that's what's important. And I'm going to honor them and their commitment and our accountability together by saying and showing, I always do videos, I did it. I did my workout today. I'm drinking my Recover. I'm in the trenches with you guys. Thank you for your support. Love you so much. But when I put these things on Facebook to someone who doesn't have that trusting relationship, doesn't know me better, they're not going to elicit a response most of the time. They're going to be like, oh, she didn't work out today, big deal. There's no accountability there. There's no accountability to what I am or am not doing. The commitments that I made and I said that I was going to follow through with, but I haven't. And why? There's no one going, okay, what's going on with you? I haven't seen you doing these things, and I love you, and I just want to make sure that everything's okay. There's not that. There's this false sense of, hey girl, you know, you're doing so great, awesome, you look great. I may look great. I may be doing, you know, great things here and there. You may be seeing the highlights of my day, which is 90% of social media. But you're not seeing the things that are going on behind closed doors. I'm not revealing those things to you. I'm covering it up with a happy smile, or, you know, a cute picture of my kids after I just got done screaming at them to take the picture or whatever. Someone used that illustration the other day and I was like, that's perfect. That's so perfect. It just makes so much sense. Hold on. So this book, Unglued, I recommend it if you have not read it, done the devotional. It's amazing. It's fabulous, and it's perfect for where I'm at in life, and I'm really glad that I just decided to order it. Random Amazon purchase. Let's see. When my emotions are level, I'm like the little girl in that movie, The Help, to whom the beloved Eveline leans down and whispers, "You is kind, you is smart, you is important." Jesus has made me a kind-hearted person, full of encouragement and eager to inspire any person who gets within 10 feet of me. Preach. Jesus has made me smart, enough to know that I need him, desperately and fully. And Jesus has assigned all of us the important job of representing him to the world, which means we represent him everywhere we go. In processing unglued reactions, soul integrity is the heart of what we are after. Soul integrity is honesty that's godly. It brings passion of the exploder and the peacemaking of the stuffer under the authority of Jesus, where honesty and godliness embrace balance with each other. So it's talking about people that have off the wall, well, reactions, different reactions to things. So there's exploders who get immediately angry and just blow up on anyone. And then there's stuffers. I'm a stuffer. People who take little jabs and little things and interpret them and then stuff them, and then they come out in this explosion of word vomit and all kinds of emotions. I'm a stuffer. I'm working on that. But it's talking about how you respond to these people and the way that we keep them accountable by calling them out. And it's calling them out in a gracious way. When you're vulnerable with someone and you're just kind of laying it out there, and someone decides to speak up about that, you have to look at it in two ways. You have to look at it in a, I posted, so because I wanted accountability and because I wanted that, and there you go, way to go, April. Because I wanted that accountability, and then when someone gives you that constructive criticism, or maybe it's not so constructive, you have to look at it through the eyes of Jesus. And that sounds really weird, but when you've put yourself out there and you've said, I need help, I'm covering this up, I'm tired of being a stuffer, I want this to come out, not gonna be late for preschool, you have to put yourself in that position to receive those things, but filter them. Because people will say, I'm just being honest, I'm just being truthful, you asked for this, and sometimes there's a deeper meaning behind what they're saying to you that is not necessarily them helping you or keeping you accountable. And you may do the same thing to them. I do it with my sisters all the time. I'm like, well, I'm just being honest, that looks terrible on you. It's not like that with everybody. So I don't know if this is making any sense, but real life vulnerability is having that trusting relationship with someone, maybe a spouse, a best friend, a sister, a parent, close girlfriends, and saying, this is what is happening in my life. I just need you to be here and to hold me accountable and to check on me and make sure that I'm okay. Facebook, Instagram, social media vulnerability is saying, oh, look, you know, I've got dirty dishes. Yes, that's my dishwasher open. All these boxes and my house is such a mess. You know, that's looking for likes and attention. Because we all have a mess. Like, there's my laundry and like, that's my house right now. I have 2 small children and busy. So, but being vulnerable is admitting that you need help and you're tired of covering up and you're ready for this to just be open and raw, and have someone that is going to say, sister, I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. Whatever I can do to help, let me know. And then that person is going to check in on you, and they're going to say, hey, how are you moving towards your progress? Hey, you know, and if you're not in the place to receive it after you've asked for it, it's going to come across sometimes as criticism. It's going to come across as they're being judgmental. It's going to come across as however you perceive it in your mind. But you have to be open to receive that and to take that vulnerability and learn from it and move with it, and be okay with the people that you know and love supporting you and checking in on you, even when it's tough, even when it's hard, even when it's not fun. So that is my spiel for today. I really don't remember 90% of what I said, so I don't know if any of that made sense, but if you want more of what I'm talking about, it's from the book Unglued, and then you can always go to Elevation Church on YouTube and listen to Holly Furtick's sermon on covering up. It's really good. So I hope you got something from that. Like, share, tell your friends. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Bye, y'all.